What do you want from me? I'm just blood and flesh and bones. I'm not an answer.
Welcome to Mildly Entertaining at UNCW, the show where the Office of Military Affairs keeps you mildly entertained and more or less up to date on what's going on at UNCW. Your hosts are Joanna DeMott, the Military Liaison and Program Coordinator, and Melanie Nelson, the Military Student Services Specialist. Hi, Joanna, how are you?
You know, I'm going to go off the normal script, and I'm just going to tell you that I'm confused. I run through the entire gamut of emotions every single day. There's no one thing that I could use to describe how I am. At this moment right now, I'm super excited. We're finally back from our little hiatus for July, and I'm excited.
I'm happy to hear that. I'm excited because of the reason we took a hiatus in July. We did take the entire month of July off from recording the podcast for a very well-deserved reason, which is that we were moving our office into our new Military Affairs Wing in Veterans Hall. We've been talking about it for quite a while now, but it has finally happened. I am here. I am looking out the window onto the beautiful academic quad. I can see trees and sky. It's amazing, I'm just gonna say. So I'm excited just because of that. But I am excited to get back into the groove of our show and to interview some more staff members as we prepare for yet another phase of the pandemic. Best for the nest and coming back on campus or not coming back on campus and how it's all working out.
I love it. Another reason to be excited is that I cannot believe that it's taken us this long to interview Sissy Hendricks, our third-party sponsorship billing coordinator here at UNCW. How are you today, Sissy?
Doing great. I feel the same way you do. I have a gamut of emotions that I go through every day.
Well, I'm glad that you're here with us today, even to share all of those emotions. And we have some really lighthearted and mildly entertaining questions for you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity for us to catch up, too. We don't get to see your smiling face as much as we did before.
Yeah, I'm regretting not being able to be on campus right now because I do miss everybody and all of the students and, yeah, I miss it.
So your situation now is you're going to continue to telework for a while. Is that correct?
That's correct. For the time being, the only personnel from the student accounts office that's on campus currently are the cashiers, and because they have that protective glass in front of them. So it's just those four in that little office with the protective glass, so they aren't subjected to COVID-19 as much as we would be if we were there face to face with students.
So we're keeping Sissy safe from COVID by keeping her at home. So she is safe at home, still serving our students though.
Oh, yes.
Very busy. Very, very busy.
I have multiple Zoom meetings a day with them, and, I go out of my way to try to help them with whatever it is that they need, even when it's not my area of expertise. I still try to give them the same service I would as if I were on campus. So
I love it. I'm going to turn you over to Melanie for a little bit more mildly entertaining questioning and maybe a little bit more about those Zoom calls.
Okay.
Yep, here we go. Okay, so the first and most important question, which we ask everybody who comes on the show because it is of vital interest to me personally, as well as to our vast audience of listeners, is this: what are you snacking on these days?
I'm not a real big snacker, but it's terrible stuff if I am snacking because I'm not a big fan of going to the grocery store, and when I do, I'm so quick that I'm just grabbing stuff, throwing it in the cart, and running out the door. So nothing really good for myself.
That's fair. That's fair. The thing about the grocery stores is a real concern. I mean, nobody wants to be hanging out in grocery stores these days when the entire population has to truck through there at some point. It's interesting because a lot of people that we had been talking to had either like really increased their level of snacking, or they're like, I'm doing super healthy stuff right now. And so I'm kind of glad to hear that like you weren't much of a snacker before and you still kind of aren't. And then it's just sort of whatever you manage to grab on your speed run through the store. I have this wonderful image of you being on one of those like shows where they do the food shopping spree and you're just like,
right. Where they're running all around grabbing stuff.
We
Spend
all
$100 in 3 seconds.
we just all did the same motion where we're like shaking maracas, but it's because we're like snatching stuff off shelves and throwing it into an imaginary grocery cart, which I love.
That's the supermarket sweep. Supermarket sweep.
Yep, I can't.
That's the one. Yes. Okay. So not doing much snacking. Okay. So you've already kind of talked about this. You miss being with the students because you're teleworking and you're required to telework. I will say that knowing, like picturing your office and picturing like the distance from the door to where you would normally sit, I fully support the decision to keep teleworking for you. We had somebody stop by here the other day who was like leaning in the door of my office, and I was like, please remain 6 feet away from me. And it was super awkward, actually. So we're gonna have to get used to lots more awkward things, which maybe this is a good thing for me. Like I'm awkward anyway, and then like, now I have a better excuse to be awkward. Who knows? But let me ask you this: what or whom do you not miss right now? Well,
what or whom do I not miss?
It's okay if you want to say you don't miss me. I'm fine with that.
I would never say that, even if I thought it. I would never say that. What or whom don't I miss? I really enjoy most everybody that I work with. I really can't say there's a person that I don't miss. I probably don't miss trying to find a parking place after coming back from lunch.
That is a real hazard of the day around here. So yeah, it's positive. See, silver lining. At least every day you don't have to search for parking after lunch because
there you go.
Already where you ate lunch. Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned that you're doing a lot of Zoom meetings, particularly with students, but whether in those one-on-one meetings or in like other team meetings, what are your pet peeves on Zoom?
Well, Melanie, I'm a really positive person. So I typically don't concentrate on my pet peeves. I mean, I'm sure I have them. There's some irritating aspects of anything that you do. But Zoom has been pretty, we mostly use Teams because IT is requiring us to use Teams now. And I've actually played around with that quite a bit, and I actually like it. And I don't really have any pet peeves about it. I guess probably a pet peeve would be that I don't really like it when somebody will not put their whole paragraph in one message. Instead you get dinged 20 times with them talking about the same thing when they could have put it all in one place. Yes. But I mean, that's true of texting too. So if you're going to text somebody, try to get all of it in one message instead of 15 messages to say the one thing that you needed to say. That would be my biggest thing. But all of the Zoom meetings that I have had with students have been awesome. We did what we needed to do. I love it because I like technology anyway, but I love that because we can share screens and I can walk them through things that, normally in the office, I would put my stand-up desk up and have them come up to the desk and just show them where to go. But with Zoom, it's like they're right there with you. So we're just, sharing and talking, and I'm talking them through the processes that they need to do. And I'm sorry for all of this, but I'm a real hand talker.
Those listeners who have no idea what's going on.
I know, my hands are waving all around.
Show going on in the background, which is fine. We're cool with that. I mean, that's the nice thing about Zoom is that you can continue to talk with your hands because the other people can actually see. It's great.
Nobody sees.
Excellent. So I'm glad to hear that Teams is working out for you. We are still kind of getting on board with the Teams thing here. But I do like it. It seems pretty simple and pretty user-friendly. But I know what you mean about the I'll accidentally hit return and then suddenly there's like multiple messages where I meant to just talk in one of my standard long paragraphs that use too many words. But anyway, totally with you on that. Okay, so question. If you had to telework for the rest of your career, pandemic or no, what would be the most important things for you to keep in mind?
If I have to, well, first of all, I'm going to do whatever I have to do. If they want me to telework the rest of my life, then, you know, I will until I retire.
Just a hypothetical here, not representing the administration, just a hypothetical.
Yeah, no, I don't expect that will happen. Student accounts is pretty student facing, so it's been awkward not being able to be student facing. But I have found out that I don't necessarily have to be in the same room with the student. I have figured that out. I always thought that I needed to be right there, but I don't. You know, I don't know how to answer that question, Melanie.
That's okay. That's okay. Plethora of emotions, plethora of hypotheticals being thrown at you. I mean, there's a lot.
You know, if they say you got to remote the rest of your life, then I would remote work and try to find the optimistic and positive sides of it. And I think that I would want to try to keep my customer service level above average, which I am definitely a big proponent of, keeping that customer service level way above, you know, what normal people would, you know, normal customer service people do. I seem to want to always go way beyond whatever it is that I'm doing with any of them. Being at the university for 18 years, I have a lot of history and a lot of knowledge and a lot of understanding of how things work and where things are and, you know, who does what. And, you know, there's a lot of new faces on campus, but I think remote working would be okay with me, because I think that I would find a way to go above and beyond what I normally do, just to show that, you know, we do give good customer service.
You do give good customer service. That is the one thing that we can always say about you. I'm just kidding. We could say a lot of good things about you.
I hope that's not the only good thing about me.
Thank you for thinking the question through. And I think that's an important thing just to keep in mind in general. There's always something positive, no matter, you know, no matter how much you liked your previous situation, if it's all changed for the foreseeable future, there's got to be something good somewhere. So I like that perspective. I'm going to hand you back to Joanna for a few more questions.
Okay.
So,
thank you, Melanie.
Yes, Melanie's the best. I love when she asks those questions, and the way she asks them, it's pretty fantastic. I hear that you have a passion for customer service. Is there anything else in your life that you could consider a passion that you have? Something you're very passionate about or very interested in?
It's all very connected with me. Customer service translates to me into helping people. And that is what I like to do. I like to help. And it doesn't matter if you're, you know, the janitor, or you're the chancellor, or you're Joanna, or you're Melanie. I'm going to find a way to help. And that's truly what my passion is helping. You know, I've been on the management side of things, and I personally don't care for that. Because I'm too big-hearted, and a lot of times my heart gets in the way of my brain. so and I'm super empathetic. You know, the most important, passionate thing for me in whatever I'm doing is finding a way to help.
I see that. I see that in you a lot, Sissy. I haven't been with the university for even an 18th of the time you have, and you've helped me so much just in the past year. So we appreciate that. And in your position, they are student accounts, our students in general. The university is lucky to have you there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So what is your favorite part of your job? If all the tasks that you do, if there's one day that you look back on and you say, this is my favorite day, this is my favorite thing to do.
Well, repetitively, I'm sure by now, as you know, there's particular situations with students. Number one, I can remember them all for some strange reason. I remember every student that I work with's name, sometimes their parents' names, sometimes their children's names. But a few years ago, I had a student who was in a bit of a situation, and it was a personal situation, but it bleeds into, you know, her life as a whole as a student at the university. And she came and she sat down in my office and she burst into tears. And I don't do crying students well because I start crying. Okay. And, you know, it was a tough situation for her, but to end that story quickly, because I could go on and on about it without giving anything away personally for her, the advice and the things that I did for her caused her to make a decision that was life-saving. And when she graduated a year later from the university, I'm gonna start crying now. She came into my office and of course now she can't hug me, but she came into my office and she hugged me and she told me that in all her life, she had not ever met a person who cared about her individually as much as I did and how I showed her. She was so grateful. And she mentioned me, I used to send out letters from the academic affairs side for students who recognize staff, faculty, or other persons on campus for extraordinary things. And she mentioned me there. But I have to say that that was probably my all-time remembered favorite thing, was helping, again, the word helping, that student, even though it was really personal. And I probably don't need to get that personal with students, but it just went that direction, and I'm not a person who pulls back once I'm headed in a direction. I'm going to go 150%.
That's a wonderful asset to have, especially when you're talking about finances, one of the things that's most concerning to college students. And so another reason that we're lucky to have Sissy in our third party billing. Can you tell just our listeners a little bit more about what you do, why they would come to see you?
Sure. Well, there's a lot of confusion about what third party billing is. And third party billing from my side is invoicing corporate sponsorship, military tuition assistance, anybody who wants to pay a student account and needs a university issued invoice, not a student bill, a university issued invoice. So I probably do that for around 2,000 or more students every semester. After the end of drop ad, it's a pretty busy time for me. And we have our system Banner is a finance system. It wasn't entirely designed to handle third-party vendor relationships for invoicing students. So there's a lot of work that goes into making our system work the way that we need it to in order to bill people for these things, because everybody, you know, in the probably 40 or 50 vendors that we have, every one of them has specific requirements for invoicing, and it's my job to know all of that. It's my job to make sure that the contracts are followed, the agreements are done, that the posting to the student account is correct. In some instances, I work closely with financial aid, because financial aid actually will reconcile all of the transactions and then comes back to student accounts and says, oh, this chapter 33 student was 100%, but VA is only going to pay it 20%. You know, that's not what they do, but just as an example. yes, so I will have to come back and make corrections. And so it's a lot of accounting type work, but my thought process on it is it's a help to the students, and it's important to try to get it correct the first time. The students are not my only customers the way that I see it. It's our vendors, our outside sponsorships, giving them a correct invoice with the correct information that they need to pay us with is just as important as getting a student, lined up to get into a third-party billing contract. And we call them contracts, but they're not all contracts. That's just what we call them in Banner.
That's
It's a lot of work.
Now I know the terminology to use with you, which is also fun. I love to learn the misconceptions about people's jobs, and you have an important one, because if we can't pay, we can't stay. So
yeah, exactly. And that also bleeds into the word helping too, because there's been quite a few students that I've had to stick my neck out for to make sure that they could stay in their classes. And I've not the first time have I ever regretted doing that for the students that I've had to do it for.
That's amazing.
Well, they always come through for me, that, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I don't know how I got that, but I do have it. And I guess because I'm an old lady now and and worldly, but I can tell if a student is sincere about they're going to take care of the bill, or they're going to take care of what they need to do to get it done. I haven't ever been surprised that somebody that I actually stuck my head in the chopping block for didn't do what they were supposed to do. So
that's quite a statement with 18 years at the university. And
yeah.
Everyone definitely appreciates that. And I know that when we refer students over to you, that they're going to be taken care of. Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? Anything coming up, or you're going to be real busy?
I do have a new office. I don't know when I will ever get in it, but I do have a new office, and it's instead of me being around behind the cashier's offices, I'll be out front and would be facing what used to be the Military Resource Lounge in Warwick. My office will be right to the side of the cashier's office. So what they did was went in and reduced the size of the cashier's office and built me an office out front. But I do not know when I will be able to occupy it. So currently, I'm kind of in a holding pattern, so that's probably, important for everybody to know that I will be moving. I'll be in the same building. You'll be able to find me, I promise. And yeah, so that's pretty much all I need to say.
And you'll have sustainability will be across the hall from you now in our old lounge, so you can play with Kat Pullman and her crew whenever you
It'll be nice. It'll be nice to meet some new faces, but I will miss you guys, because part of my enjoyment was y'all being right there, the financial aid office and the Military Resource Lounge and us right there together. There was not a veteran student that came into that building that couldn't get help. You know what I'm saying? Because we were all right there. And, I make it a point to try to tell all of my students that I work with to make sure that they connect with you guys. And I hope you do the same for me. And because we're all a team. In the end, we're all a team. We're all there for the same reason, to help these guys.
Absolutely. And I know we do. If it's third-party billing, I'm like, let's get Sissy involved for sure.
Yeah. Well, the one good thing about it, I don't know the answer. I'll get it for you.
Absolutely. That's why we love you, Sissy. I want to thank you so much for coming on today. It's been a real pleasure to catch up with you again. It's been months. Yes, it has been since March. I think I left the university March 22nd, and I haven't been back at all. Not even to just drive through. There's a lot that goes into being able to get back on campus, from what I understand.
especially with the state still in the phase 2 portion of the restrictions. So, and it could be that when we go to phase 3, I may still not be able to come back on campus. It's all with our managers and higher ups. So whichever way they need me, I'm here, I'm working. And I've even, donated my personal cell phone, which I have gotten some calls at midnight from students. And I look at the phone number, I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys, I'm an old lady. I can't answer the phone at midnight. You don't want me to answer the phone at midnight. So, but, that's a hazard of using your personal cell phone, or it's not a hazard. It depends on how you look at it. It's usually pretty funny to me and gets a good laugh, and we could all use that.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on the show today. Again, it was wonderful to catch up with you, and we look forward to the day when we can have you back in your shiny new office in the Warwick Center. In the meantime, this has been an episode of Mildly Entertaining at UNCW, and we will see you on the internet.
Thank you for listening to Mildly Entertaining. Our intro music comes from the band Blue Turnip and their song, What Do You Want From Me? You can find their EP, Songs from the Root Cellar, on Bandcamp, iTunes, Amazon, and Spotify. For more information, you can go to blueturnipmusic.com.